if they feel like they're wasting money on marketing, then chances are they don't understand why they're not getting any results. Because if they knew what it wasn't working, they would go in and change it.
So
And
what are some of the areas that you think people that you've heard people tell you when you diagnose their situation, you realize, boy, that was a lot of money went toward X, and X is rarely productive. So, like, what are
yeah,
some of the X's that you see that for service companies of the size you're talking about, it's just not always the best idea for them?
sure. Well, I mean, it's easy to kind of pick on all the digital marketing things that folks go because and I'll pick on SEO for example. And I'm a fan of SEO, have a lot of great vendors that I recommend for SEO, and it's great when it's properly used in the proper context in the right business strategy. But a lot of people have been just sold on the idea. A lot of attorneys that I deal with, it's like, oh, you need to be on page one of Google. Well, yeah, like, sure, that sounds great to be on page one of Google, but there's a lot of other conversations that go into that. Like, all right, what's it going to take for you to get on page one of Google? What's the cost? Are you going to be able to get a return out of that? And then the big thing is, all right, so people find you on Google. Well, then what happens? So it's just being found on page one of Google isn't going to solve all your problems. If you don't have a good website for people to land on that can actually convert those people into an interested or a more qualified lead. And then more so when people are talking about wasting money on marketing, sometimes their marketing is great. They're getting the best leads they can possibly imagine delivered to them on a silver platter by their marketing company. But then when somebody calls in, the receptionist is just like law firm, or they have no idea how to actually intake that hot lead and convert them into a paying client. And so you can have excellent marketing, but if you can't convert it into a sale, you're never going to get a return. And so those are kind of some of the key things that I kind of focus on. Are you generating good quality leads that you actually want and through all these different channels? And then what does your intake and conversion actually look like?